This volume serves as the novel's crucible, where characters are tested and fundamental truths are forged in the fire of confrontation and self-revelation. It moves the narrative from the external social world of Hertfordshire to the internal, psychological landscapes of its protagonists, particularly Elizabeth. Chapter 24, The Anatomy of a Heartbreak. The letter's rhetoric. Caroline Bingley's letter is a masterwork of genteel cruelty. Phrases like, "My brother is quite in love with Miss Darcy," and the hope that Jane will be so sincere as to convince Elizabeth that her former sentiments for Mr. Bingley are now a mere passing fancy, are designed to wound while maintaining a veneer of concern. This highlights the sophisticated social warfare women of this class were forced to wage. Jane's tragic fortitude. Jane's reaction is not just sadness, but a profound philosophical resignation. She tells Elizabeth, "It is no use to repine. A woman had better show more affection than she feels," directly contradicting Charlotte Lucas's earlier advice. This positions Jane as a tragic figure caught between societal expectations and her own innate honesty. Elizabeth cemented prejudice. Elizabeth's conclusion, Mr. Darcy was the cause, his pride and caprice were the cause, is presented as an unshakable truth. The narrator states she was fully convinced that Darcy was concerned in the Bingleys' departure, demonstrating how her sharp mind, when clouded by prejudice, can construct a logically consistent but entirely incorrect narrative. Chapter 25, The Gardeners as Foils and Saviors. Social nuance. The Gardeners are not just sensible. They represent the emerging, virtuous merchant class. Their home in Cheapside, near their warehouses, is a crucial social marker. While Mrs. Bennet is ashamed of this connection, Elizabeth and Jane are not, showing their moral superiority to their mother's snobbery. Aunt Gardiner's local knowledge. Mrs. Gardiner's warning about Wickham is not just generic advice. She reveals she grew up near him in Derbyshire and knows his family history. This geographically and socially connects her to the Darcy/Wickham backstory, adding a layer of verisimilitude and foreshadowing. Chapter 26, The Mechanics of Social Exclusion. Jane's quiet desperation. Jane's experience in London is a clinical depiction of social ostracism. Her initial visit to the Hursts' house on Grosvenor Street is met with cold politeness. The subsequent silence, the lack of a return visit, the unreturned calls, is a language everyone understands. Jane's letter to Elizabeth is a model of repressed emotion. "I do not think I shall ever be in company with Caroline again. It is painful to grow up in such a belief." Wickham's mercenary logic. The narrator dissects Wickham's shift to Miss King with cold precision. Elizabeth had neither been surprised nor shocked. Her heart had been but slightly touched. This shows Elizabeth's emotional intelligence and her ability to separate mild personal disappointment from economic reality, a skill that will be brutally applied to her own family later. Chapter 27, 29, The Architecture of a Pragmatic Marriage. Charlotte's strategic management. The description of Hunsford Parsonage is a physical manifestation of Charlotte's marriage. It is to the road, symbolizing its connection to Rosings and its dependents. The small green court and tidy garden with its green pails and church spire are all symbols of Mr. Collins's world. Charlotte's genius lies in arranging the rooms so the dining parlor faces the back, allowing her a private view. Her neat-handed management of the household is her active creation of a life within severe constraints. Lady Catherine, the tyranny of privilege. Lady Catherine's dialogue is not just rude, it is a performance of unchecked power. Her interrogation of Elizabeth, "Are any of your younger sisters out? Had you a governess? Your father's estate is entailed on Mr. Collins," is a systematic assessment of Elizabeth's social and economic worth. Elizabeth's defiance, such as her retort, "I am not a musician, your ladyship, and I am not afraid of saying that I never learned," is a direct challenge to this arbitrary authority, which Darcy witnesses with fascination. Chapter 30-33, The Psychology of Attraction. Colonel Fitzwilliam's function. The Colonel is more than a foil. He is a window into Darcy's world. His casual, good-humored revelations about the cost of being a younger son, "I cannot afford to spend money on a whim," and his role as Georgiana's co-guardian provide crucial exposition and humanize the Darcy family. Darcy's unspoken conflict. Darcy's behavior is a textbook case of internal struggle. His silent visits, His intense staring, he fixed his eyes on her, and his pointed questions. Do you not feel a great inclination, Miss Bennet, to seize such an opportunity of dancing a reel? Are the actions of a man trying to reconcile his love with his deeply ingrained social principles? Elizabeth's misinterpretation is perfectly logical from her perspective. She sees the satirical eye of a man looking for faults, not the admiring gaze of a man in love. Chapter 34. The syntax of pride and the vocabulary of prejudice. Darcy's body language. The scene is charged with physicality. He enters in an agitated manner. He walked about the room. His complexion became pale with anger. His declaration is not a smooth soliloquy, but a burst of pent-up emotion, its grammar fractured by his internal conflict. In vain have I struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. Elizabeth's rhetorical counterattack. Her rejection is not just an emotional outburst. It is a structured legal rebuttal. She presents her 3 charges with forensic clarity. Her final condemnation. You are mistaken, Mr. Darcy. If you suppose that the mode of your declaration affected me in any other way, then as it spared me the concern which I might have felt in refusing you, had you behaved in a more gentlemanlike manner, is a devastating blow aimed directly at the core of his identity as a gentleman. Chapter 35. The epistolary revelation. The letter as a narrative device. The letter allows Darcy to speak for himself, uninterrupted, and without the burden of his poor social skills. It shifts the narrative point of view, forcing the reader, like Elizabeth, to reevaluate everything, deconstructing the charges. 1. Regarding Jane. Darcy's justification reveals his own character flaw, an inability to interpret emotions that are not explicitly stated. He saw Jane's serenity as indifference. This is not just snobbery, but a specific failure of empathy rooted in his own reserved nature. 2. Regarding Wickham, the level of detail is crucial. He names the living Kimpton, the exact sum £3,000, and the location of the attempted elopement, Ramsgate, where Georgiana was with a companion, Mrs. Young, whom Wickham was in league with. This specificity makes the account undeniable. It reframes Wickham from a charming victim to a predatory conman and reveals Darcy's primary motivation, the protection of his vulnerable sister. Chapter 36. The cognitive dissonance of self-knowledge. Elizabeth's intellectual journey. Austen maps Elizabeth's thought process with psychological precision. 1. Denial. She put down the letter, weighing every circumstance with what she meant to be impartiality. This must be false. This cannot be. 2. Reevaluation. She conducts a sober reflection, revisiting her memories of Wickham. She realizes his initial confidences to her, a stranger, were improper. She sees the inconsistency of his public complaints about Darcy while privately accepting an invitation to dinner. 3. Acceptance and shame. The realization is total and humiliating. She sees that her vanity was gratified by Wickham's attention and offended by Darcy's neglect. She acknowledges the justice of his description of her family. Her journey is a painful education in humility. How humiliating is this discovery? I have courted prepossession and ignorance, and driven reason away. Till this moment, I never knew myself. Part 4. The Foreshadowed Storm, chapters 37-42. Chapter 37-38. The geometry of power shifting. The dynamic at Rosings has irrevocably changed. Elizabeth now holds a secret power over Darcy, knowing his deepest shame, the near ruin of his sister. Her farewell to him is brief and formal, but it is charged with this new, unspoken knowledge. Colonel Fitzwilliam's confirmation about Darcy's saving a friend is the final piece of the puzzle for Elizabeth. It verifies Darcy's account of his motives, even if she still disagrees with his actions. Chapter 39-42. The calm before the storm. The dysfunctional Bennet household. Elizabeth's return highlights the gulf between her newfound maturity and her family's stagnation. Lydia's obsession with the officers is now seen by Elizabeth not as mere silliness, but as a dangerous lack of principle. Mr. Bennet's fatal negligence. The conversation about Lydia going to Brighton is one of the most important in the novel. Elizabeth's plea is a stark warning of social ruin. Mr. Bennet's refusal to act, cloaked in his signature wit, "We shall have no peace at Longbourn if Lydia does not go to Brighton," is not just laziness. It is a profound abdication of paternal responsibility that will have dire consequences. His belief that Lydia's imprudence will be contained by the Forsters is a catastrophic misjudgment, symbolic downgrade of the tour. The change of the Gardeners' tour from the lakes to Derbyshire is rich with irony and foreshadowing. The lakes represent a wild, romantic escape. Derbyshire is Darcy's territory. This geographical shift signals that the narrative is being drawn inexorably toward a final confrontation and resolution at Pemberley. Please like and subscribe for future updates. Stay tuned for Volume 3.